Hello, Internet! Hi, guys, how's it going? It is April the 21st. It is Friday. It is 7 p.m. And Eternal has just updated in a very big way. We're going to go straight into a patch breakdown, talk about all of the stuff that changed. There were no major balance changes, but there have been a ton of future changes, and those are actually really interesting. We're going to talk about those. I'm going to just break down the notes real quick, it's pretty straightforward in a sense, but at the same time there's a lot to go through, or at least there will be a lot to go through once we actually go through the things. Alright, so first, the big one. Voices have been added to Eternal. There are some cinematics now, there are several the campaigns have all been updated with voice work, and many of the cards, quite a few of the cards, I would say, have voiced lines when played. Pretty much all of the human cards that I've seen have had voiced lines. The Grenadins make sounds, the Gargoyles make sounds. A lot of things are just making a lot of noise, and it's really great. It looks like, at the moment, all of the units do have attack and death sound effects, so they make noises when they hit things, and they make noises when they die, and those noises are somewhat like benefiting of their personality, so yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm pretty delighted with how that is looking. It looks like the levels are a little bit off this patch, but I'm sure that'll be fixed as time goes on. And some of the sounds actually sound pretty cool. There's some really fun quotes. We're looking forward to seeing them. I haven't heard that many of them yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, so yeah, that's the big one. Voices are now in Eternal, so Eternal's now got that extra bit of polish, and hopefully we'll polish that up even more as time goes on. I'm pretty excited about it. Secondly, there's been a store pricing update. That one's pretty straightforward, right? So this one is simply a matter of gems. The gem counts are now much more even. They're less of a, like, I believe they used to be like something like 1,050 or something like that. You would get a certain amount of gems where you got an odd or weird number, and so you'd always have some gems left over. And what they've done instead is they basically just sized it out so that you actually get like a really appropriate amount of gems for whatever it is you're spending. The bonuses are pretty straightforward. You can buy packs in packs of 100, so you don't have those like weird, like sort of lingering leftover gems, which was sort of the League of Legends shiftstone system. Or what League of Legends, I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, that general system where it's like, oh, you always have to spend more cash money so that you can go ahead and pay for more stuff. But no, this is much more honest pricing, and I do generally appreciate it. For those of you who had any sort of like extra amount of gems left over that were like 5 extra gems or 50 extra gems or something like that, it actually rounds up to the nearest 100. So you'll go up to 100 and you'll be able to buy packs or whatever it is that you want. So yeah, just a nice little change in pricing. I think that people made their opinions on that known, and I think that the response was good. I'm glad that they decided to do that, and that's pretty awesome. Okay, here's another fun one, and a very important one for the tournament scene. You now have Observer Mode, so I can go ahead and peer in on Bad Guy Ty's games. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm recording things, but it'll be pretty solid, and yeah, overall, that should be, like, pretty cool stuff. I've looked at it already. It's a pretty nice mode overall. Seems like it's doing lots of cool stuff. And, like, yeah, of course, that allows you to set up better tournaments because you actually have the Spectator mode, and you can see both sides of the map if you want to, or you can, like, observe other things. And, yeah, like, that's just really super useful. I think that's a really crazy good feature. So yeah, Observer Mode is now finally in the game. Every good like card game should have an Observer Mode, so just one of those like final bits of necessary polish and necessary features before the game goes into live release, which I imagine shouldn't be too far around the bend now that we've got all of this stuff out. We have some UI updates. The badge on the playmat now shows your current rank rather than last season's rank. So it's now showing off exactly what rank you currently are, which it's a bit unfortunate for me because I usually spend a lot of like the month just sort of grinding up to master and doing it fairly slowly and taking my time with it. So now I might be slightly more incentivized to get up to master earlier in the month so that I don't show as diamond or gold or whatever in the early days, but that's okay. There's also been like some clear menu changes, a lot bigger buttons, a lot like shinier, like just everything seems a little bit more clear and readable. There's a ton of like useful stuff going on with the tabs. Like, yeah, like all of this information is just way better organized, and that's really nice. Still want this match history to be expandable, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get to that. Looks like you can expand on achievements, you can expand on leagues, everything looks pretty solid here. The UI is looking lovely. I do really like how it looks at the moment. I think it's a pretty solid change. It should be very, very good. Okay, what else? What else? Updated deck art for Champion of Chaos. We don't care about that too much. You can report players for abusive speech. You used to be able to do that from the feedback window, but it wasn't really exceptionally clear. So, yeah, now if somebody's like yelling at you and being like kind of a jerk, then you can just report them from the chat window, and that will hopefully lead to like an increased number of reports and also make it more obvious to like people that they can't behave that way. Yeah, it should be pretty solid. It should now be easier to identify who's going first at the start of the game. I don't know how they did that, but that was a minor visual glitch that I certainly had complaints about, so glad to see that changed. Blazing Renegade and Oni Striker have swapped name and art, but have no functional changes. Those are the only card updates. So, like, basically those two have changed art, and the Great Parliament now has a change where it shows you how many cards you've played in your... Whoa, goodness. Hang on a sec. Do I have more deck slots? That's fine. Nope, still not more deck slots. That's okay. But I do like this new UI. It's actually using a lot more space and it's using it a little bit better, so that's really cool. Okay, but yes, anyways, my collection. Let's go ahead and look at Blazing Renegade. Yep, the 2-1 charge is now Blazing Renegade, and the other one is Oni Striker. That one's now the 5-2. Or the 3-2 charge quick draw. That's kind of a weird change to me, and of course it does come after I just redid for the Empty Throne all of the like card breakdowns, so now these two cards are swapped forever, so I disapprove. But no, yeah, it's totally fine for them to switch around art before release. I think that makes perfect sense, and yeah, looks pretty cool. Alright, there are some minor client fixes, other stuff going on there, like just a couple of bug fixes. Nothing so important that I'd actually mention it. Like, looks like Railgun used to receive double damage for a turn following the spellcast during the end of turn. Infernus is used to immediately die when brought back by Haunting Scream. Oh, I think I had that one before. Yeah, and there are like some other things going on where just like, yeah, just really, really minor things. Crown Watch Cavalry, Mark of Shame no longer applies the -3, -0 if it gets silenced. Which, that was definitely a pretty serious bug, I suppose, even though nobody played Mark of Shame. And, yeah, so that is the entirety of our card breakdown. I think let's go ahead and roll into the campaign and just show off a little bit of this VO, because I believe Roland... Okay, have we seen all this?
Search for his past began at the walls of Argentport, with an unlucky grunt ordered to bar the gates. Some folks just gotta learn things the hard way.
Oh, nice. Alright, so yeah, that new VO sounds really nice. Looks like Jack is narrating all of it. And,
To shore up the capital's defenses, Roland raided the universities for Cambré's best and brightest. There was some resistance at first, but after a training session, there weren't many who objected.
Alright, we'll wrap out our patch breakdown there, but yeah, a little bit of a hint of the new voice acting. Let's go ahead and get to the twitching.